it going? The fairing is still off the Road Glide, as you can see, because I knew I had a couple other things coming in and I didn't want to take it apart, put it back together, blah 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 blah. So we did the stereo and we did the amp, and today we are going to do a new headlight. Let's see. Cannot tell. I have a low beam mount. I think both high beams weird. And when I asked Harley about it, they said you cannot change those out. It's all one housing. So you have to replace the whole housing, which is like $700. I decided I was not going to do that. I like LEDs better anyway. So I went on Amazon. I picked this one up for less than half that price. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it in today. It's Ohio at the end of March. It's kind of stupid. It's like 20 degrees out right now, so it's a little cold out in the garage. But we're gonna try to get this done real quick. So directions, these are actually pretty good directions. Tells you how to take your fairing off, all that fun stuff. And getting this back in. So real quick, I have a whole bunch of videos telling you how to take this fairing off from the radio and the amp and all that stuff, but there's your 4 window screws. You have one down here where your blinker is, and you have one in here in your speaker area, and then you have 2 down here on both sides. And then a clip that goes onto here that pops off. That's it. That's pretty easy. Alright, back to the light. So this does have turn signals built into this unit, so it comes with separate wires. That'll be fun to get into. Bracket, some screws, and this is what it's going to look like. There's a couple different ones. There's one that has like 2 of them with an X through it. I thought this one was aesthetically better looking, so this is what I went with. Alright, it's looking like, to take it off, you have these little side fins right here. So those are torch bits. So 2 of those, and then 2 for each side, and then you got some hex heads right there and some hex heads back there, and that should be it. And actually, with all my mess right here from the new radio and the amp and everything like that, this new housing is smaller, so it might give me some room to actually shove some wires down in there a little bit better too. Give me a little bit more room. Here. That's it. So I was a little mad there for a second. This is the first time I've had this light off, and I noticed here, and like I said, when I talked to Harley, I asked them if they had a low beam bulb for it, and he was like, no, it's one whole housing, you have to replace the whole thing. So when I took it off, I just noticed this. So I was like, well, what the heck, maybe you can change it out. So I took the rubber boot off, and there is some screws way down in there that maybe you could get this off and get to the bulbs, but looks like it's a pain in the butt, and I already have the new stuff here, so I'm just gonna go with that. But maybe if you don't want to spend the money, you might be able to get to it and change that bulb out. I'm not sure. If you know, let me know in the comments. Alright, as you can see, this one does not come with the harness connected. They do send it, but it does not say either what order to place them in here. They do have connectors on them already, so once you slide them in, they'll lock in, and then you can hook it up to the factory one. However, since it doesn't say, I'm going to do a little testing and find out. This is the way it'll set in, and then there'll be some brackets up here. If you notice, those top ones were way back, and this is a shallower unit. Let me grab the other one real quick. So here's your factory one. This is how it sets on there. So you could tell the difference in size on them. Maybe there's not much. So so I'm gonna do some testing. Alright, so that took me like 2 minutes to figure out. It was real simple. I just brought the headlight up here and plugged it in like one at a time. I figured black was all the way at the end, which matches the black on your stock harness, so your ground wire. And from messing around before, I kind of knew the battery wire was gonna probably be all the way to the right, messing around with other bikes. So I plugged those two in, that worked, and then it was just finding the high beam, which is your white, and then the other one kind of runs these ones, which is your red, which is your daytime runner lights. So if you're looking at it like this, it will go yellow, white, red, black. And that's how you put it into your connector, and then you just slide it onto your factory harness. For some reason that didn't. And there you go. There's your daytime runners, and then your low beam, and then your high beam. I know it's probably hard to see on there, but it is a lot brighter, of course, because they're LEDs, so it's a lot better than your halogen stock bulbs. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the brackets on and start bolting this back up. Well, I have to get connectors too for the turn signals, so your daytime runners also are turn signals. So I gotta get that set up and figure out which one's right and left. On there it doesn't tell you that either, so we'll set that up real quick. Alright, so this is what I was talking about you have brackets on the top, because it's not as deep as that one. So we go on there, and then it comes with little hex head screws that go in. So when you take your fairing off your Road Glide, you'll notice the turn signal goes with it. So when you take it off, there's these connectors right here and here for your turn signal. These are what comes with it, with that little headlight kit. So what I did here was I have a butt connector on one side. I'm going to figure out which one it is before I plug it in. But then it hooks into your factory wiring, and then your fairing will hook into there. That way your fairing turn signals will work and your new headlight turn signal will work. Alright, that wasn't too hard to figure out either. So if you're looking at the bike like this, for the turn signal to work, you have a brown one that will go to the left side, you have a purple one and that will go to the right. Right now I only had the brown one hooked up because we have to take it back off, but I just want to show you how that works. So you can kind of see it there, and that does work with the 4-ways on too. That's optional. You don't have to have that turn signal on. You could just leave it the white daylight or daytime runner, whatever you want to call it. But I figure it's there. It's pretty easy to hook up. Might as well do it. Any chance that you can have to be visible on the road, I would say go for it. Everybody knows how dangerous it is out there, so maybe just for safety, hook it up. So real quick too, with the side fins, these will go back on your new headlight. However, if you look here, On the factory one, they actually have like a screw set in there to where the new one doesn't, so it does come with bolts and nuts to put these side fins back on. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Alright, it is all done. I have barrel connectors under here, and for some reason I've done this for as long as I can remember. I'll barrel connect them or put some kind of connector, and then I wrap them in electrical tape also, just to make sure, you know, extra protection. So brackets are on, side fins are on, it's good to go back in. We're going to get it placed. First we're going to plug our wiring back in. And like I said, brown goes to the left if you're looking at it, and purple goes to the right. So before we latch it back down, let's double check that. Yep. Good. I don't know if you can tell that one's on. That's good. Right, good to go. Everything's looking great. So now let's just push all this stuff back up and get her back into place. Alright. I'm going to bring you back up here. Show you a little difference from that is just the low beams and the daylight runners. It's already a big difference from the stock. There's the bright. Looks good.